Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to change the thermal fuse. So if your oven isn't heating up, it's more than likely your thermal fuse, and in this video I'm going to show you how to change that. So the tools required for this process will be wire cutters, a pair of pliers, flathead, Phillips or star head, some green tape, painter's tape, solder, and a soldering gun or a soldering tool. You want to start off by unplugging the machine, powering it off, ensuring that there is no power going through it by unplugging it. Then grab your green tape and just tape down each side so the door doesn't open. I like to give a little fold so I have somewhere to catch it, and just tape down both sides. Once your sides are taped down, you're going to want to flip the whole machine over. So once your oven is flipped over, there's a panel on it with 4 screws, 4 Phillips screws. So you're going to want to start off by taking those out. Once the screws are out, remove the panel, and it will expose the wires inside that we have to remove. Okay, so once you're inside the panel, you'll have 4 screws. You do not remove them, you just loosen them, and you're going to be pulling the wires out of here. So just kind of turn the screws a little bit until they're loose, and you can pull these out. So they got to go up a little bit, but not all the way out. But they do have to go up a bit to get these out. And then you kind of just pull them out, and that's what's sticking inside. Okay, and then you pull out the blue one. So this blue one, this one white one here, which has a red tab on the end. Again, just don't take out the screw fully, just unscrew until it loosens out and you can pull this out. There. And then you just pull it out. And you can leave the screw in there. And pull that one out, and then this last one here is this white one here with the black nib on the end. So again, you just unscrew it, pull it out when it's loose. Now with this one here in particular, it's got another wire that goes in with it. So just retighten this one back down until we put it back later, just so that that doesn't move anywhere. Okay? And you can even turn these ones down a little bit until we get back. Just a little bit down and a little bit down. Okay? So now once you get all these out, then just kind of pull it through here. Just pull it through until you have all 3. Like that. And now we can flip it and they'll be ready to be pulled through. Okay, so once you have your wires ready to be pulled through, flip the oven back over, remove the green tape so we can get back in. You can put that aside. Then you open her up, and you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 small screws like that, Phillips, to take out. So just remove all the screws from on the plate and they'll come right out. Put them aside, do not lose them. There's 10 in total. There's one on there. There'll be one left on there that you do not have to remove. And it's different than the mall. It's a metal one. These ones are plastic and that one is metal. So you can just leave that one on. So now that you've taken all of your screws out, and you've set them aside where you're not going to lose them, you're going to take your flathead and you're going to kind of come in behind the back, and there's a little lip in here, little gap. You can kind of get the flathead in, and then just push back a bit, and then it kind of will allow you to catch it there. So catch that with your finger, and then you can pull it up. Just be very careful when pulling up because the wires are right here. Now we do have them loose, so we can pull them out. So just pull very slowly, make sure they're not caught on anything or they didn't get caught when flipping it. And then after you have them all pulled out, just flip it over, and you can leave it like this to be worked on. So now we're going to get to the part where we have some soldering to do and some cutting. Okay, so once we get to this point and we have it flipped over, we've got to take out this screw here and this nut and bolt here, and then we're going to have to remove this to put the new one in. So grab a little pair of pliers, and I kind of squeeze here on the nut, and then you take your Phillips underneath, and you can twist that off. Okay, so once you loosen it, just don't lose the nut and bolt. And there's 2 washers in there as well, 2 very small washers, so just watch those. I kind of just hold it. I'll put this aside for a sec, grab the new one, put it in the same way. Take the bolt, put it underneath, put it through. Then I'm kind of pressing and just holding it while I put the washers back on. And then once the washers are on, put the nut back on top, and then we're going to tighten it back down into place. Just push the nut down as far as you can. Then again, just tighten it on, not too tight, just want it taut. If you go too hard, it's going to break. So just twist that on till it's nice and taut. Now it just can't move. And now that's in place, you take your old one, and you're going to cut it as close to this solder as possible. So just get as close as you can, and then cut that off. Just leave like that much of the wire exposed so that we can solder onto it. We're leaving that little bit exposed there. And then what you do is you take your wire cutters, find the size, and then you take off a little piece. You do the same with this. There's a little plastic piece on the end. You just pull that off. And now you take this end, and you just give it a twist around there and get it ready for soldering. And now we're ready to solder. Get your soldering gun or your soldering tool. Set it to 400 degrees. And then grab some solder. And you just want to sort of touch the wire and just solder that together. Not too much, just enough to coat it. So you grab your soldering gun at 400 degrees Celsius, and you're going to touch the wire and you're going to solder this together. And not too much solder, just enough to get it to hold. So you have your soldered wire now, and then you have this one left. So pull off the plastic nib at the top, and then cut just a little bit more off. Just a hair more off, so that we can stick it in on the other side where we got to screw it in. So just very little. Okay, so your wires are together like this. So flip it. Now I sort of hold the one side up, because we got to sneak these back through the hole here. Sneak the wires through. So that's 1, 2, and then the third one. So as you do that and they're in place, just make sure they're in the hole, and then you can put your panel back down. Your heat plate back down in place. And then from this point, you're going to want to screw all of your screws back into place. All of the small plastic ones. So put your 10 screws back in. And then you're going to close it. I reuse the tape just to hold the sides on. And then you're going to flip it again to work on it. Okay, so after you've flipped it, you're going to have the white with the black end. You're going to have another white piece with nothing on the end. And then you have your blue wire. So all you do is slide those back underneath here. And then we'll get to connecting them. Okay, so the white wire with the black at the end will go back into this negative side. You just kind of put the other ones aside, so just unscrew it a little bit. Once it slides in, put it back down. Not too tight, just taut enough to hold those wires in. Don't reef on it. Then you're going to take the other white wire. Now this one has a red piece, but there'll be nothing on it with yours. And then you're going to slide that back into place. Again, not too tight with the screws, just taut. Then we'll take the blue wire and we're going to put that back into place. Remembering that the blue is on this side, red is on this side. So I'm going to unscrew them just a little bit more, just to be able to slide these underneath nice and easy. And then you kind of sneak those in there and slide them under. So blue, start with the blue. These ones are a little tricky to get in. Just take your time. Once you get it in place, start with one. Once you get the one in place, so get the blue first. Tighten that screw down a little bit. And then you put in your red one on the other side. There we go. Like I said, it's a little tricky. Just play with it until it kind of slides in there. And then tighten that screw down on it. And then you just sort of tuck that back under like that. And then you're going to take your panel. Now you'll notice on your panel that it's not fully square. There's one corner that has like a little niche taken out of it. That niche is for, let me just back the camera up a bit here, is for this part here where it kind of curves in. So you just want to make sure that that's on the curvy side. And then you place it back there. Put your 4 screws back in place. Now we're ready to flip it back over. So we've got the panel on. Flip your machine back over. Remove the green tape. Open the door. Plug your machine back in. Turn it on. Just ensure that your temperature is going back up. There we go. So just ensure that the temperature is going back up. Okay. So this one is normally set at 120. And we set our curing time for 180 seconds. So in case you didn't know how to set it or change it, I'm going to show you here. You just press this button to change the temperature, and then you press up and down to your desired heat, and then you press this button again to set it. So now this is going to go up to 120, and the 180 seconds you're going to want to keep it at, because that is your curing time for your DTF print. And to start it, you just hit this arrow up and it will start your timer. And then when it starts beeping, just hit it again and it'll go back to 180 and you're ready to start again.